Good morning and welcome to Bold Step Podcast. I'm joined here today by Ete Davies, EMEA's Chief Operating Officer at Dentsu Creative. Welcome. How are you today?
I'm very good, thanks. Morning. Very happy to be here.
It's a pleasure. So, Ete, you were named top 100 in UK Digital. I need my notes because you have so many accomplishments. You're recognised at EMEA 100, appear in Creative Pool's top 100 influencers, not to mention Campaign Magazine's top 10 Trailblazers. You were CEO at Engine, and now you're MA COO at Dentsu Creative, just to name a few. Tell me, how did you do all of that?
Everything's really driven by a desire to grow, to learn, to develop, to strive for excellence, and not being afraid to take the untrodden path. I've always been one that's believed that you have to take those bold steps and really push yourself to learn new things, experience new things, and then see where that takes you in life. I was fortunate that I started off my career as an account manager in a small full-service agency, so had to occupy a lot of different roles, work on lots of different projects with lots of different clients, and that variety and that diversity made me really adaptable, and I've just built on that as I've moved forward in my career.
That's amazing. Very inspirational. Can you take me back to your earlier years? You're a black kid from Southeast London. You end up going to university in Wales. I'm going to try and pronounce it.
Aberystwyth.
Okay. All right. I'm going to leave that one with you. Also known as Aber University. Tell me, what takes you there?
Yeah, as you pointed out, I'm a Lucian boy from Southeast London. My family originally from Nigeria. There's a big Nigerian community in Lewisham and across Southeast London, but lots of other immigrant families and second-generation immigrants. Being the child of immigrants, you're driven to achieve and driven to strive and to do well and to be best because others have made sacrifices and made achievements for you to be here. You are the next person in that chain to sort of go forward. And the culture and the values is all about excellence and pushing yourself. And I've always had this innate desire to want to experience new things and to see more of the world and experience cultures outside of that, which I grew up in. And Aberystwyth, Wales was the furthest within the UK that I could find culturally from Southeast London.
It's incredible. So, Ete, you studied biological science at ABBA, and you're known as one of the most respected leaders in the creative industry. How did you accomplish that?
Yeah, I've always had a philosophy in life that, where you start and where you think you're going to end up isn't necessarily where you'll always finish. Sometimes you have to follow the journey of life and the growth path that it takes you on, and every step that you take is adding to your skills and your tools to take you to where you need to go next, which might still be unwritten. So I've never really taken the sort of standard path that many leaders in my position have got to, particularly those who came into to advertising. I think coming from that biological sciences background and what it taught me about being analytical, being able to study systems, being able to look at evidence and use that to drive decisions, tied with the sort of innate creativity that I have within me, has actually given me an advantage in my career over many of my peers because I've approached problems with a very different mindset and a different perspective.
You've got the reputation for being one of the calmest people in the room. How do you sustain that?
Actively, I've sort of practiced a lot of mindfulness and accepting of things that you can't change, but also then knowing the things that you can change, being active in changing those. And I think a lot of that came from probably my background. Many people don't know, but I grew up in a Roman Catholic monastery as a child. My mother was working and also looking after my sister. I spent my infant years up until early primary school being raised by Benedictine monks, and it was all about reflection. It was all about finding serenity and focus, but then also being purposeful in everything that you do. And that sort of carried through with me into my career and into my adult life. I follow a Japanese philosophy called Ikigai, which is all about trying to find your center really and your sense of being, and looking at the different elements of your life, from your vocation to your family to your passions to what the world needs, and how you can balance and bring those things together. For a long time in my life, I was juggling being a single parent, progressing my career, trying to drive change in the industry. And the only way you can maintain your energy with all of those things is finding the way that they feed each other, and then also finding where you can find peace by bringing them all together.
Wow. You've led the transformational change for many agencies, including AKQA, Analog Folk. You were the CEO of Engine, and now you're the CEO of Dentsu Creatives. Have you reached all your milestones? What's next for you?
No, I don't think I have reached all the milestones. If I was to have something in my epitaph of what people said after I'd gone, I'd like them to say I left some sort of positive contribution or positive change. In fact, I think it's all that any of us should really ever strive to do. And I think within our industry, advertising, communications, creative, we're so fortunate that we're able to reach millions of people sometimes. We're able to influence culture. We're able to shape people's emotions, their thought patterns, their understanding of the world and of each other and their communities. And that comes with a real responsibility to do something positive that the world much, much, much needs. And so that's what I've always strived to do within my work, and work with people who are on that same mission. And it takes us to some very interesting, innovative, creative places. And for me, the root of that drive stems a lot from my background and that community culture that I had in Southeast London. Growing up in that Nigerian second generation immigrant community, you are one in many that has added something into the family, into your community, into everybody trying to move forward. And so the milestone doesn't stop with me. It doesn't stop with my children, my friends, anyone else that comes after. We keep going, because it is about an intergenerational legacy of positivity.
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you for coming, Ete. You've been an inspiration to us all. You've motivated many offshore, a true inspiration. What would be the last word you'd want to leave with us?
Yeah, well, thank you. I guess if I was going to leave the listeners with anything, it'd be about not being afraid to take those bold steps. Don't be afraid to take the unconventional journey, the untrodden path. Open your mind to experiences that you may not have been planning for, to experiment, to be curious, to try and go into the unknown, and opening your mind to what opportunities are out there, and not just thinking about 5 or 10 years down the future, but even in your next few hours of the day, try and take something that you didn't expect, because you never know where it might take you.
Absolutely.